All right, good Sunday afternoon, everybody. Want to update you on where things stand with the current winter weather that we've got. And I'll show you first off the advisories and warnings because things have changed here over the last couple of hours. If you haven't been watching the football game today and seen any of our updates, you might not have noticed this yet, but the warning continues to our north. So it includes Fredericksburg to Orange to Charlottesville. That's where heavier amounts of snow and ice are still expected, and it's staying below freezing up there. We have been changed over to a winter weather advisory here in the Richmond area, as well as the northern neck and most of the middle peninsula. That's just for lesser amounts of snow and ice. As of right now, temperatures are still a little bit above freezing across much of the Richmond area, but we will likely fall below freezing as we get into the just post-sunset hours a little bit. After it gets dark out here, I do expect us to drop off to around freezing or a little bit below. Now, let me show you what I'm tracking that's going to increase our precipitation rates. In the upper levels of the atmosphere, this looks like a big mess, but there's Virginia right in here, and all of these red and yellow areas, that's upper level energy, what we call vorticity. And I'm watching this little lobe of vorticity coming out of eastern sections of Kentucky, and if I move this through time, 6 hours, you'll see right here how it gets a little bit darker and even pink, so it's getting a hotter area here of vorticity. That's strong lift, and that lift is already starting to get realized in the form of some greater radar returns. And you can see that right here, north and west of Richmond, starting to see a lot more precipitation developing across the area. And that's a big change from what we had earlier. Here's another look at it, and you can see that we're starting to see a lot more overspreading Richmond. All this purple started to fill in. Now, right now, it's just a heavy, cold drizzle. Most of it is not falling into air that's yet below freezing. It's still about 33 degrees, but it is getting colder back in here. Got a report of some sleet out in the short pump area. Now, it's been cold, in fact, below freezing at times when we've had the rain. That's where you get freezing rain. And so let me show you what's going to happen with the vertical profile of the atmosphere here. And so what we've been experiencing for much of tonight, or much of today, is that we've had snow that's been developing. Something's going to pop onto the screen, so just give me a second here. So snow has been developing up in the cloud, and it's been melting in this warm layer and then refreezing on contact because it's been cold enough. Now, you don't sense this warm air because it's about 4,000, 5,000 feet up off the ground, and it's just something that happens with very well-developed areas of low pressure. And so we started with snow, but this warm layer moved in, and that just killed all of our hopes for a deep snow. And so we had snow that melted and then refroze on contact. Now, what's happening currently and what's going to continue to develop is colder air is going to overtake the column, and we're going to end up with snow. And that snow is not going to accumulate a ton because there's not going to be that much moisture left, but I do expect that we'll see trace to an inch of snow here in the Richmond area. I'm going to show you that map in a moment. Now, looking at this in a more technical way, we can go over and look at the soundings. Now, again, show this a lot. This line right here, this line is the 0 degree line. So you have snow up here, and as all this is below freezing, everything left of this line right here is below freezing. So it's snow, 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 and then right here it melts. And again, it's about 4,000 or 5,000 feet up, and then it becomes cold again. But right now it's still falling into temperatures that are a little bit above freezing, so it's just a cold rain. Now this is at 3 o'clock. Watch what happens to the profile as I move to 4 o'clock, then 5 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock. Now the whole column is below freezing, and it's still, there's a lot of moisture in the column here, so it's going to fall as light snow. And again, by 6 o'clock in Richmond, I do expect some light snow to be falling. And then 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then we start to see the atmosphere become drier. As those lines separate, that's the drying out of the atmosphere. So as far as additional accumulations go for the area, I'll take you down here and show you. First off, let's look at the HRRR. This is a high resolution rapid refresh model that we look at. It ingests data and gives us a new model output every hour instead of other models that wait 3 to 6 hours. So it's already a little bit ahead of the game here on the snow at 4 o'clock. I don't think we'll have snow yet in Richmond by 4 o'clock, but watch what happens between 4 and about 7, 8, and 9. We really start to see the colder air taking over. And again, there's not a ton of moisture here. This is not like 4 or 5 hours of really heavy snow. We're looking at maybe 1/10 to maybe 2/10 of moisture, but really about 1/10 of moisture. So, and everything's out of here by just after midnight, and then we clear out with some icy spots in the morning. So that's what I'm expecting for the rest of tonight as we get that changeover. A trace to an inch of snow which includes the Richmond area, and then 1 to 2 inches farther north, Orange to Fredericksburg, parts of the northern neck as well. Again, if you remember what I was showing you from that upper level, that vorticity area, this area it becomes maximized. So that's why I have the northern neck in the 1 to 2 inch. Could get a little bit more there. So this zone here, maybe even Tappahannock being right on that edge. But again, a trace to an inch of snow, that's not a deep snow at all, but overnight tonight, so as we drop down into the 20s, this could lead to some slick spots. Many of you probably saw my closings prediction for the state of Virginia, and you know, a lot of those are probably going to end up in school tomorrow. I think a 2-hour delay looks like it'll probably be a good call for lots of places. And other places will probably just all out close. You had to go about 20 to 30 miles north of here, though, to get into the 4 to 5 to 6 inch totals. Quite a few of those coming in from Louisa County up around Lake Anna. So that's what's going to happen for the rest of tonight. The event is not over. Not going to be a huge event by any stretch, but we will still have a little bit more light snow later on tonight, which could cause some issues for overnight driving and certainly into the early morning tomorrow. And as far as any more power outages go, the power outages have come down a little bit. Wind's picking up a little bit. There may be some additional outages a little bit later on tonight. All right, that's the very latest. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for sticking with us through this winter weather event. Stay with CBS 6, the Weather Authority.